there's 4 major shopping cart manufacturers in the United States. And I reached out to all of them. And I'm like, look, this is a huge unmet need in the retail world of shopping. All 4 of them turned me down. And let me say this. When you finally get an audience and you are just a stay-at-home mom, you get nowhere fast. No one took me seriously. So I was left at a crossroads. If this was going to happen, I was going to have to make it happen.
Welcome to the award-winning podcast where motherhood meets reinvention. I'm your host, Sharon Macey, and this is Mom to More. I chat with remarkable moms who've embraced the art of reinvention, crafting their more by leveraging the skills they honed as stay-at-home moms. They share their experiences, struggles, and successes as they return to former careers, rediscover old passions, and chart entirely new paths, offering you the motivation and inspiration to help you answer the question, what do you want to do when your kids grow up? Welcome back to a new episode of Mom to More. Hey, if you hadn't noticed, for those of you watching on YouTube, I am in a studio. Let me know what you think. And before we jump in, I've had so many of you ask about one-on-one mentorship calls. If you're at a crossroads and want guidance for your next chapter, I would love to help. Just head to momtomore.com for all the details. Okay, strap in, because today you are in for a real treat that proves what happens when a mom refuses to take no for an answer when it comes to her child. And I can feel everyone's head nodding in agreement. Drew Ann Long was a stay-at-home mom with zero background in engineering when love for her daughter and basic necessity sparked an idea that would change shopping for families everywhere. Inspired by Caroline, her special needs daughter, who could not use a traditional shopping cart, Drew Ann sketched her vision on a napkin, like where else, and through pure grit and mom-powered determination, turned frustration into innovation when she designed Caroline's Cart, the first patented grocery cart for individuals with special needs. Her invention didn't just change retail, it changed lives. Today, this patented special needs shopping cart is in stores across all 50 states and around the world, bringing dignity and accessibility to families and caregivers. Drew Ann has been celebrated by major retailers, featured on national media like Today, CNN, Inside Edition, and CBS News, and has earned recognition from Walmart, Target, and even former First Lady Michelle Obama. But at the heart of it all, she's still a mom who simply refused to accept limits when it came to her baby. Drew Ann, welcome to the show. I am so thrilled to talk to you today.
Thank you. I'm excited to do this today.
Well, we have a lot to talk about, so let's just jump in. Okay, I like to start all of my conversations with what I call my essential mom question, and that is, how many kids do you have and where are you raising them?
I have 3 kids. They're adults now.
Adult kids,
and
right.
We are in Alabama.
Oh, nice. Southern girl. Okay.
Southern girl.
So did you plan on being a stay-at-home mom? Like, what did that look like for you?
I mean, yes and no. So I went to college, I graduated with a degree in business, and I was single. So I was just, corporate America and what can I do? And I was all in, got married. And of course I wanted to have kids, but at the time my income was needed. So I had to balance being a mom and working as well. I enjoyed it. My husband was working on his master's and it was crazy life. I'm sure everybody can identify that. Deep down, yes, I think I did want to be a stay-at-home mom, but it just wasn't available to me at, early on in our marriage.
Right. Gotcha. So I want to now set up your journey because the story blew me away when you first told me about it. Take us back to when you suddenly entered the world of special needs.
Okay. So Caroline is my second daughter. She was born October 9th in 2000, and I knew nothing. The doctors knew nothing. I brought home, because that's what they told me, a perfectly healthy baby.
Right.
She was my second. I knew nothing. Life is great. I'm a mom of 2 precious girls, but that soon changed. When Caroline was around 9 months, I just, in the depths of my soul, I thought something was wrong. I refused to talk about it because when you talk about it, it becomes real. I just didn't want to accept what I was seeing and what I knew to be true. It was undeniable by the time she was 12 months old. She just was not hitting milestones So from there, the doctors did know something was wrong. We did not know what was wrong. We chased so many avenues of disability and diagnoses. And finally, around 3.5 to 4, she was diagnosed with Rett syndrome, which is genetic. I'm not a carrier. My husband's not a carrier. It just happens. It's just completely random.
Oh, that's
it can happen to
interesting.
anyone, anytime. The doctor's like, it's like winning the lottery. So I found myself completely thrown into the world of disability, a world I didn't want to be in, a world I knew nothing about, a world that would test me, challenge me, but also inspire me to try to make a difference in her life.
Right. I can appreciate that. And so it took several years for the diagnosis, and then you have 3 kids. So you had another child.
Right. So during that time, I got pregnant again. And, there was a lot of horror when I got pregnant again. A lot of people were like, oh my gosh, what do you do? I had a severely disabled child. But selfishly, I wanted more children, and I was not going to allow that to stop me from having more children. When you have a child with a disability, you love them no less. But when she was right around diagnosis time, I gave birth to a son. So I have 2 typical children and 1 special needs child.
Gotcha. And what's interesting about that, Drew, is that people I know who have special needs kids say they get such extraordinary joy and love from having that child, even though they were petrified and just so unsure when they received the diagnosis.
Nobody wants a child with a disability. I think that's fair to say. That's not what I prayed for. No one gets pregnant and says, oh, I hope I have a severely disabled child. You get what you get, and it's up to you how you respond and how you move on and find the happiness with this new normal.
So how did you manage that? I think you said to me when we first spoke that you were sort of forced into being a stay-at-home mom. It was like, boom, here we are.
When I realized Caroline was going to be so severely disabled, I was forced to quit. It wasn't a good time. I was actually enjoying my job. I was director of finance at a boarding school. I loved it. But, your family comes first. Your children come first. So found myself a stay-at-home mom. Boom, here comes a baby boy, and I have 3 littles and 1 severely disabled. So it was trying, it was exciting. I don't remember a lot of those early years because I think you get in this zone and you just get done what has to get done.
Right. It's sort of like daily survival. But I think that whether your kids are special needs or not, when you're in the mom zone with 3 young kids, because we had 3 kids too, you got your head down and you're moving forward.
Just got to get it done.
Right.
And it's joy, but special needs and not special needs, you're right. It's a lot.
So when we first spoke, you said that special needs is the world's largest minority group. Explain that.
Absolutely. Right. I did not know that at the time. I really did not even know that till I started my business. But the special needs community is, in fact, the world's largest minority group. And most people don't know that. How would you know that?
How would we know that?
Part of it. I didn't. Right. I didn't know that when she was born. I did not know that when she was diagnosed. I did not know that till I started my business.
Got it. Okay. So let's fast forward a few years. Shopping with Caroline is getting increasingly difficult as she was starting to grow. And so you sketched the first idea for this cart because you couldn't go into the stores anymore because of her size. And of course, you sketched it on a napkin, which is like so mom and so classic. And I love that. So give us an idea of how you went after this, even when all the so-called experts were telling you no effing way.
When I was at the grocery store all the time, my husband traveled for work and I was bringing my 3 kids with me. I used what the stores provided as long as she fit. Mm-hmm. You've all seen the fun carts, the traditional carts. So when she was about 8 years old, I asked my manager, I said, look, I'm just small town Alabama. Would you please get me a special needs shopping cart? And through lots of research, she was like, I don't think that is a thing. And it wasn't. It just never existed. Mm-hmm. So at this very table that I'm sitting at, I drew it on a piece of paper. And I thought, wow, if I need this, of course I'm not alone. If I need this, other moms need it. And thus began my journey to bring this cart to life. You're right. It was a napkin drawing because I'd gone out to eat with my husband. Let me say that. We had gone out to eat and I actually still have it. And he was like, what are you talking about? Because So he's like, just show it to me. So I drew it, put a bow. I'm like, and then I came home and he's like, okay, so let's do a better job of that. So I got home, we sat at this table and we got a little more serious about the napkin. So it went from a napkin to a piece of paper.
There you go. Now I assume you have this framed, right? Somewhere in your house, this has got to be framed.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Yes. It's like, oh. there it is.
Yeah. Oh, that's incredible. So give us a really brief rundown of when you first started to talk to people about creating this cart. Talk to me about the pushback that you were getting.
Okay, so I knew what I needed, and this is it. If people haven't seen it, it's a very simple
For those of you on YouTube.
design.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, for those of you that can see it. So I knew that I didn't have the time, the resources to do this. So I took my drawing to corporate America. There's 4 major shopping cart manufacturers in the United States. And I reached out to all of them and I talked to them and I'm like, look, I don't want money. Just this is what you need to do. This is a huge unmet need in the retail world of shopping. At that time, I through my research, I knew that the special needs community was the world's largest minority group. I said that to them. All 4 of them turned me down. So I was at a crossroads. I was like, wow. I just thought they were very closed-minded. Let me say this. When you finally get an audience and you are just a stay-at-home mom with a piece of paper drawing, you get nowhere fast. No one took me seriously.
You were simply a mom. You had no engineering degree, as we said earlier. It's amazing that the role of mom just does not have the gravitas that it really deserves.
100%. And I think that I was just so easily dismissed because number one, they don't live in my world. But number two, they were not willing to listen. And it was a huge missed opportunity for these companies. I didn't know that at the time that Caroline's Cart would be so successful, but I did know that this is something that you can no longer ignore. How can you provide a variety of carts for the able-bodied, but you're missing the world's largest minority group in every single retailer? And that's what they refused to listen to. If this was going to happen, I was going to have to make it happen.
Right. Spoken like a true mom. Hey, Drew, we are going to take a quick break. And when we return, we are going to dive in to what happened to your family finances throughout everything that happened, creating Caroline's Cart, and really what happens when you break new ground. So don't go away. We'll be right back. And now a quick word from my sponsor, Ally Shoes. I got to tell you, these are some of the most comfortable shoes I have ever worn. They're designed by women, for women, like finally, right? And engineered with perfectly placed padding so I can literally wear these all day. And I cannot say that for other brands I've worn. And I'm not the only one giving positive reviews. InStyle, Business Insider, and CNN are all saying the same thing. Oh, and they have a really cool origin story as well. So flats, heels, boots, you name it, they have it. Ally is letting me share the love with all of you. Head on over to Ally, that's ALLY.NYC, where new customers and listeners of the pod will get $40 off your first pair of heels. All their heels, like Classic, Kitten, Bold Block, Sexy Slingbacks, with special code MOMTOMORE40, and 10% off your first pair of boots and flats, so 10% off of each, with special code MOMTOMORE10. Ally is reimagining how comfort and function support women every day, and I love that. Thanks to Ally for sponsoring this episode. Okay, Drew, clearly a major financial outlay had to happen. I think when we first talked the first time, you're like, nobody who's an entrepreneur, actually makes money at the beginning. And if anything, we're all in debt. I can appreciate that. So talk to me about, what did you invest? And did it take a toll on your family from a financial perspective?
When I finally decided I was going to do this, I had no idea. How do you get something off a piece of paper into millions of stores? I have no idea. The reason I say that is the financial outlay was a burden, and I did not know that. And had I known that, I would never have started. I was very naive. I thought, okay, this is a simple design. This is not electrical. This is not, this is not an app. This is simple. This is a simple thing. And I drained our savings just with my first prototype. The first prototype was $28,000. And you couldn't even sit in it. It was just something for me to take pictures of. So savings was gone after that. And I was like, what is happening? Then you need lawyers, you need patents, you need international patents. The list goes on and on of the income going out. out. It was a one-way income stream for 7 years. I never made a dime. Soon, my husband and I were at another crossroads, and we're like, if this is going to make it, the only other money that we have is our 401k. Mm-hmm. Now, I know, as does my husband, you are never supposed to touch that. And we never would have, but it was the only way. And it was such a risk, and I'm glad that I was in such a zone, because I think had I been thinking rationally, I probably never would have touched it, because here I've got corporate America telling me this is not a need. And I'm like, oh, watch this. I'm going to do it.
So major financial risk.
Oh my gosh. It was crazy.
But you know what? There's something beautiful about the naivete that you had, because you knew you needed this for your daughter. You knew you were not the only person in the world who could use a cart like this for their child. So that's incredible. And you had the vision, and you had the naivete, which in this way was actually really helpful to you, because you didn't know what you didn't know, and you're like, well, of course we can do this. You don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
That's
right.
So talk to me about the mom skills that you used to create Caroline's cart, and just how you use those skills to persevere into really this vast unknown, the legal world, the engineering world, the production world, for something like what you were trying to create in Caroline's cart.
Mom skills, we all have them. We all just uniquely find ways to make anything work, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you have a cart, whether you're trying to French braid your daughter's hair. I'm like, I've never done that before. Let me figure that out.
You can find a YouTube video for that now.
I'm now on first base at the T-ball game. What? I mean, you just have to be fearless. And I think so many moms, I think that is a God-given instinct that we have. I think you have to be fearless to be a mom. You just never know what's going to happen and what's going to be thrown at you, and school and their friendships and their activities. And we want to make it seamless and effortless for them. So we're willing to do whatever that takes. So, again, I had no idea what I was doing, and you just have to figure it out. I had to figure out every single step of this journey. I was on an island, I couldn't go to corporate America. They had told me no. They actually told me no twice, because after I got my nice prototype, I chose one of them. I'm like, I'm still here. I'm doing this. And they told me no again. So I'm like, okay, you've told me no twice now. Now I was mad before. Now I'm really mad.
Right.
And now watch this. I don't know how. I'm going to figure this out.
But do not cross a mom on a mission. That is for sure.
Well, true.
Yeah, so true. But you know what, Drew, and you said something about being fearless. And I think we all have that within us. And I think that's such a great lesson for moms as they starting to think about their next chapter of life. And sometimes we're afraid to tread into the unknown. But you know what? We've had kids. We've been treading into the unknown since the day our first child was born. And we all have that in us. And you've just really personified it in an extraordinary way. Okay, so after countless rejections, right? Now you've gone back twice, and the same people are telling you no. You had a breakthrough, which allowed you to start to strategically place carts across the country.
After, corporate America rejecting me twice, I had to have a manufacturer. I couldn't have a shopping cart manufacturer because they all told me no. Well, you can't have a successful product if you don't have a product, duh. So I had to do a lot of research, and I found a manufacturer in Georgia. He made lumber carts, never made a shopping cart, but he said he could do it. So for $100,000, more money out, he made me 100 carts. I only got 88. That's a long story, but so I had 88 carts, and Walmart wouldn't buy from me. Kroger wouldn't buy from me. Target wouldn't buy from me. They only bought from this major shopping cart manufacturer that told me no twice. Mm-hmm. So great, I have 88 carts. Now what do I do? So social media was huge for me, because I had to turn to this world's largest minority group, and I needed to create the demand. I needed a movement. So I started my Facebook page, Instagram, all the things, and I said, hey, here it is. What do you think? And it was instant. I'll only shop there. Where do I get it? Where do I get it? So because all the big stores told me no, I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to go small stores. I'm going to have to go the mom and pop stores. Literally strategically placed 88 carts in the small, no one's ever heard of, locally owned mom and pop stores. The first one was in Chicago called Sunset Foods.
Which I know. Yes, I know Sunset Foods.
Yeah, right. So they bought one. That was my very first sale. I instantly went to social media and I said, if you live in the Chicagoland area, here it is. Here's the address. People went, posted, loved it. And then that just, the wheels started turning. So it took me about a year to find 88 mom and pop stores that would take a chance on a stay-at-home mom from small town Alabama trying to change the culture of shopping. When all 88 were placed, again, social media, every time one was sold, we'd go, we'd say, picture, let's go. And I couldn't have done this without social media and without these families that created the demand. About a year later, 88 carts, I had no more money. I had no money, haven't made a dime. Yes, I sold 88, but guess what? That didn't put a dent into my expenses, into shipping, into insurance, into patents, and to the $100,000. I mean, all the things. So it took a while, it was about a year. My phone rings, and it was a shopping cart manufacturer that told me no twice, who said, we are now getting phone calls from Walmart, from Target, from Kroger, saying we have rogue moms, their word, not mine. We have rogue moms coming to us saying, if you don't get Caroline's cart, we're going to call the media. We have to have this. This is the only way we can shop with our child.
I love that. Rogue moms who are making a difference. They are walking the walk, talking the talk. They're going to the local retailers and saying, if you don't have this cart because our kids need it, we're not shopping with you. And we're going to make sure nobody else shops there too. Yay them.
100%. Rogue mom. That's what I was told. So third trip is when, it had been years, I finally got a manufacturing contract. And that's when we really got big, because as successful as the 88 carts were, and they were, did it make me any money? Zip. Did it even touch the debt? Nada. But it proved to corporate America that this was a product that indeed was needed in every retailer. And that's what changed the game for me, is proving and creating the demand.
That is such a great story. And now, as you said, you are in Target and Walmart, all the major retailers all over the country,
All of them.
smaller stores like Kroger and,
Right. We're not in Costco. Costco won't have us, but
Costco's missing out. Are the rogue moms not shopping at Costco?
Oh, they are. We have been fighting Costco, and they really don't care. And Home Depot, but Home Depot is not interested. But Lowe's Home Improvement, we're in every Lowe's. So if you have if you're out on a Saturday and you need to go get a garden hose, every Lowe's in the United States has it as well. Corporate Walmart did a rollout last year into every Walmart in the country, and that's really put a spotlight on this again. It's really drummed up more demand and has helped the cart overall succeed even more. So we're not giving up on Costco, but they've been difficult, unfortunately.
Well, that's their loss. So I want to just roll back a little. And how did you manage the impact on your other kids, like making sure that they didn't feel overlooked during this time when you were pouring so much time and effort and money into creating the cart? For Caroline, obviously some really demanding years.
Well, it was tough. Did I miss out on stuff? Absolutely I did. I've heard all the women out there, can we do it all? Can we have it all? I'm going to answer that probably, and I might get some pushback from that. I don't think so. I think something has to give. When I was out traveling and putting everything, I had years of work into this. I missed things at home. I missed things at school. My kids were young. They knew Caroline with special needs. They love her. They know her no different. And I would tell them, I'm not only doing this for Caroline, I'm doing this for the Carolines all over the country, all over the world. Right. Mommy is trying to help the special needs families like us, that they have a Caroline in their life. Did have guilt, but also I knew, we always talk about the greater good. I knew that my husband was at home, and this was something that we decided was worth the risk and was worth me giving it all I had. I don't want to say my kids missed a lot. I mean, there was a lot of vacations we couldn't go on because we didn't have any money. So for years, my kids are like, we're going to the beach. I'm like, go play with that prototype over there. Go put your logo,
Go
go
play
put
with the
your
grocery
labels in
cart.
that. Right.
Yeah.
Go play in the shopping cart. So it was sacrifice. It wasn't easy at all. Looking back, was it worth it? Yes. But did I miss a lot? Sure, I did.
Sure.
But now that my kids are older and, my daughter lives in Dallas, my son's in college, and they travel and they see it and they're proud of it. And they know, looking back, gosh, that was rough, but wow, look at the impact that it's had. Look
Yeah.
at the legacy that this will leave for Caroline.
That's true. I think that's fabulous. And what you said before about not having it all, my perspective on that is you can have it all, just not all at once.
So, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, it'll come to you in various ages and stages of your life, but no, can it all happen all together all at once? No, you're going to make yourself crazy.
And there was a lot of mom guilt on that. And
Sure.
Give yourself grace. When you're out there doing whatever you give yourself grace.
That's good advice. Thank you for that. So I want to talk quickly about how you took the spotlight of Caroline's Cart and you turned it into yet another groundbreaking, innovative idea of yours, and it is your nonprofit. Tell my listeners about that because it's fabulous.
Sure. So because of the success of Caroline's Cart, my husband and I wanted to give back to the special needs community that I relied on to build that demand. And we started a scholarship nonprofit for families like ours. So if a mom or dad have a typical child and a special needs child, we want to honor that special needs child when it's time to go to college. And we want to give a one-time $5,000 scholarship to entering freshmen. You have to be a freshman in college. We know the sacrifices the sibling makes. I've seen it with my own kids. And we want to honor them and spotlight them and say, first of all, the only way you even qualify for this is because you have a special needs sibling. We see you. We know what you have given up. We know the sacrifices your family has made. So we say that a Caroline's Cost Scholarship is a win-win-win.
Yeah.
It's a win for the family because of the financial support. It is a win for the student because it gives them a chance to kick off their secondary education. But most of all, it is a win for the sibling with a disability because without them, none of this would be possible.
Right. I think that's fantastic, Drew. Thank you for that. Okay. You also gave a TED Talk, which I listened to, and it was wonderful. But tell our listeners what was going on when you were giving the TED Talk, because there was something.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes. Someone had reached out to me in the Birmingham area and said, would you like to do this? I knew nothing about it, but I said, yes, gosh, anytime to get my story out, my message out. That's what helped build my business. So it was a grueling process. You have to go to all these trainings and the speech has to be memorized word for word. And it was a really big deal. And I was excited to do it. However, my daughter was very, very sick at that time and she was in the hospital. She'd been in the hospital for a week and I am panicking thinking, oh my gosh, this talk is coming. This talk is coming. And she went from bad to worse. So the day of the talk, we are now 2 weeks in the hospital. My husband brought my clothes, my makeup, and I got ready for my talk, my TEDx at Children's Hospital. I went and gave it, missed the after party, came right back to Children's Hospital. It was a great experience. That was the most stressful time of my life.
That's incredible. So what message do you want people to walk away with from your TED Talk?
I take the risk. There's a lot of things I think that women face and they wonder, is it worth it? Do your homework. But I think anything we do is a risk. We're all risk takers at some level. But if you're looking at something that you think is something you want to do, I say take the risk. I mean, had I not taken the risk, we wouldn't be having this conversation today.
Exactly. Amen to that. Just the more you try, even though you think you might not, that's where baby steps come in. And you exemplify the baby steps, the tiny little steps you had to take, how you had to backtrack, how you had to, like almost 2 steps back, 1 step forward. That's what I really love about your story, Drew. So thank you so much for sharing that. We are unfortunately coming to the end of our time, but I have a question that I ask all of the amazing moms I have the privilege of interviewing, and that is, because this is the Mom to More podcast, Drew Ann Long, what is your more?
My more is giving back to the special needs community. I'm a part of it. I've been a part of it for 25 years. It is very rewarding. I often get asked, don't you get tired of doing what you do? No, because I'm living it every day. So I think giving back to the people group that supported me along my journey is something that I'll never get tired of doing. That's why I started the nonprofit. That's why I still am on doing interviews and all the media I can to promote the cart, because I know it helps his family, and I'm one of them.
Yeah.
I walk the walk. I understand what they go through.
And I think that's fantastic. Thank you for that. Okay, so please tell our listeners where they can find you online. Folks, everything is going to be in the show notes.
So my website is drewannspeaks.com. That's drewannspeaks.com. And you can find all my socials there. You can find videos and more information about Caroline's Cart, as well as Caroline's Cause and how we fund that, and my email and my contact information as well.
Terrific. Drew, wow, what a story. I'm so glad we got connected. Just from the moment I met you, I loved your personality, but more importantly, I loved what you have done and what you have created, and just your mom journey, how you really exemplify trying to mow down every barrier that's out there for your child, because that every single mom would do that. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for everything you've done to create Caroline's Cart and to make the world a more inclusive and better and kinder place.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. I mean, I really appreciate people like you that help spread my story and my message.
Hey, this wraps another episode of Mom to More. If this conversation sparked something in you, hit follow or subscribe and leave a quick 5-star review to help more moms discover the show that's shaping culture. And remember, you already possess the skills and experience you need to start on this journey, because reinvention doesn't have an age limit.